بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما يا رب العالمين. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jazakallah khair, barakallah fiqh. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakum Allah khair for the coffee, barakallah fikum. طيب, respected brothers and sisters, last time we finished verse 1, the last three verses, which ends by 163, if you remember. We were talking about إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزلنا من البينات والهدى من بعد ما بيناه للناس أولئك يلعنهم الله ويلعنهم اللاعنون إلا الذين تابوا وأصلحوا وبينوا فأولئك أتوب عليهم وأنا التواب الرحيم. إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة والناس أجمعين خالدين فيها لا يخفف عنهم العذاب ولا هم ينظرون. This verse is about those who hide what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed. We highlighted a lot of meanings. So this group or paragraph of verses ends by قول الله تعالى وإلهكم إله واحد لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم. This is the end of this group of connected verses. وإلهكم إله واحد لا إله, which we finished our session by last time, which means your God is only one God. There is no God worthy of worship except him, the most compassionate, most merciful. This was like an introduction for our today's verse, which is now 164, which is إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار. This is today's ayah. Last time وإلهكم إله واحد. This was followed by إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون. Meaning, indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation of the day and the night, the ships that sail the sea for the benefit of humanity, the rain sent down by Allah from the skies, reviving the earth after its death, the scattering of all kinds of creatures throughout, the shifting of the winds and the clouds drifting between the heavens and the earth. In all of this are surely signs for people of understanding. So what is the relation? This might be much more clear, verses are connected. We don't have in the Quran, once maybe I told you, Quran is similar or could be viewed like a living being, complete. The Quran speaks for itself. And the verses all together, they give you, there's a harmony between the verses. There is a big relations between the verses. So 3-4 ayat about revelation from Allah and about the obedience of Allah ends by ilahukum ilahu wahid. No God is worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be careful. The Quran at that time was addressing a people who admit the existence of Allah and Allah is al-Khaliq. Was that clear or not? But they were doing what? Shirk. Doing shirk means, because as you know, we will keep reminding, when we say Tawheed, we are not talking about believing just that Allah is one and that's it. Please delete this humble, simple, superficial understanding from your mind. When we talk about Tawheed, Tawheed is a terminology. It's a concept, contains accepting God's existence, the attributes of God, of glorification, tanzih. Nothing looks like Allah. Allah does not look anything. Okay, this is called tanzih, which means don't resemble anything in the universe that might be like Allah or Allah might be like Him. Now, and the most important, no being deserves to be worshipped, i.e. obeyed, completely except Allah. So when we say Tawheed, we are talking about these three main areas. His existence, and He is the only Khaliq, the only Raziq, the only powerful, the only decision maker. He is above all kind of similarities, simply because similarities means we are insulting Allah, bringing Him down to be like humans. Everything in the creation is built on the base of defects and weakness. Once you resembles Allah with anything, practically, indirectly and directly, you are insulting Allah. Plus, He is the only God, the only being to be worshipped. Worship means obeyed, not ritual worship, just. Ritual worship is a simple part of the meaning of worship. This is something I think I repeated 100 times, and I will keep repeating another 10,000 times, because this is the most core point of Islam. If it's not clear in our mind, simply we are wasting our time. Okay? Now, the verses, the group of verses, Revelation, those who deserve the curse of Allah, yal'anhumullah, yal'anhumullah unun, did what? Because they decided to close their eyes from the haqq that they know. Okay? Now, إلهكم إله واحد. Then, إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار وما أنزل الله, all of these things now talk about signs of the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that, immediately, Allah continued in a group of verses saying, look, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. After this ayah. Just to prepare your mind for next session. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا. I'll try to connect the three main ideas in your mind now. A group, those who do kitman, those who hide the revelations, betraying Allah's revelation, hiding the truth even though they know. Okay? Then a verse about Allah is the only being to deserve to be worshipped. Then talk about the greatness of Allah, immediately followed by وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ وَلَوْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا إِذْ يَرَوْنَ الْعَذَابَ أَنَّ الْقُوَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعَذَابِ إِذْ تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ اتُّبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا وَرَأَوُا الْعَذَابَ وتقطعت بهم الأسباب وقال الذين اتبعوا لو أن لنا كرة فنتبرأ منكم كما تبرأوا منا كذلك يريهم الله أعمالهم حسرات عليهم وما هم بخارجين من النار. So we have three main areas. Okay? The high treason, خيانة العليا. Talking about everyone that could be under this umbrella. A reminder that Allah is the only being who deserves to be obeyed. Then talk about the greatness of Allah, and the core now is وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ أَنْدَادًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. What does this mean? قال, still there are some who take others as Allah's equal. They love them as they should love Allah. But the true believers love Allah even more. If only the wrongdoers could see the horrible punishment awaiting them, they would certainly realize that all power belongs to Allah and that Allah is indeed severe in punishment. Consider the day when those who misled others will disown their followers. تبرأوا. Disowning others. Now Allah is reminding those who made the shirk. Okay? Why they decided to commit the crime of shirk? Seeking benefits. They are afraid of their power or seeking a benefit of money, prestige, or whatever. Look now. When, for example, let's take the Pharaoh as an example. Because, Pharaoh is a symbol for the dictators in the history. Now, alhamdulillah, in the Arab words, we have an excellent examples to understand these meanings. Alhamdulillah. So it will not be very complicated philosophical meaning that we can't relate. We have tens and tons of examples, alhamdulillah, which will be so easy to understand. Because we have, now I think maybe Fir'aun and Abu Jahl, if they are living now, they will say, يحرق شيطانكو, how could you do it? You see, I mean, Fir'aun himself, if he's alive now, he will be amazed about what Hafid al-Assad and, other leaders are doing with their people. Wallahi, they will say, wow. How can you do it? Anyway, now the Quran now is reminding those people, they are doing for what? Benefits. Now the soldiers of X regime and that regime, most of them, Jama'at, Ana Abd Ma'mur Yabe. This is a very famous, let's say, statement. It is said in the Arab word, Abd Ma'mur. Most of those people who say it, they are the military people who serve for dictatorship regimes, who torture, who kill, who investigate, who attack, who rape. Whenever you say Abd Ma'mur, which means I'm just following the commandments. What did Allah say about those people? Inna Fir'auna wa Hamana وَجُنُودَهُمَا كَانُوا خَاطِئِينَ. Allah did not give any excuse for the fact that you are a leader or a sub or a soldier or a following. As long as this is wrong, this is haram, regardless what is your status. Once you are doing, you are a partner in the crime. Period. Very clear in Islam. So no excuse, and Abd Ma'mur, Sha'ab Ma'mur. Do you accept this to happen with your brother? Do you allow your fellow soldiers to go and rape your sister if they want to take something from her? To give, for example, a false testimony against another one? Do you allow? No, I don't. I will kill them. Okay, why do you do it for others? Are you with me? Now, okay. Now the point. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing what will happen in the day of judgment about that. Now, to do what we call establishing the argument, إقامة الحجة. Bringing reminder. Look how patient Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. Now, Allah is witnessing thousands and millions of rude people among us who disrespect their Lord. True or false? And Allah can destroy them in a second and punish them immediately. Yet Allah is giving them part of the mercy of Allah, part of the patience of Allah, Rahmah al-Sabr, that Allah is establishing the argument, which means يقيم عليهم الحجة. In case, if you don't know, I will let you know. If you are not aware, I will make you aware. In this context, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting like enlightenment. Like, hey, look what Allah is giving you, look what Allah is providing you with. If you can find more powerful God, better God, more capable God than Allah, okay, maybe you will have an excuse. Faddal, who is Allah? What kind of God you should be following? Because they are doing what? Shirk. They are making, for example, the tribe of Quraysh is equal to Allah. Now we have many people, they are making their tribes equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or their governments, or their kings, or their bosses. Do we have those people or not? Seriously, do we have or not? Practically. Yes, definitely. So in this context, we will read the verse again, translate it, then I will give some kind of quick messages in light of this verse to connect three. Next time, inshallah, I will start a new beginning talking about إِذْ تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ اتُّبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا. About when you disown someone, he was worshipping you practically. What you will do in the day of judgment. You were the dictator. You were. It's like a message for the majority of those who decided to enslave themselves for their leaders in that time, accepting all kind of filthy, dirty works on their behalf. just to take just the, the small benefits from here and there. What will happen in the day of judgment? Allah is giving us a message. Now, today's verse again. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation of the day and the night, the ships that sail the sea for the benefit of humanity, the rain sent down by Allah from the skies, reviving the earth after its death, the scattering of all kinds of creatures throughout, the shifting of the winds and the clouds drifting between the heavens and the earth. In all of this are surely signs for people of understanding. Type. Okay. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directing all of these things for whom? Now, the non-believers, there are categories, by the way. Part of them, what we know as now as atheists. Those who are denying the majority, they were not. The majority, they were mushrikeen, not atheists. They were associates, the majority. However, some of them, those who deny everything, they did exist. What is the evidence for that? But they were, at that time, they were not called in the history, in the Islamic terminology, mulhideen. They were called dahriyin. Okay? But what is the evidence about their existence? وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق. Those who used to deny the hereafter completely and the resurrection and congregation, they denied all of these things. They are minority. But nevertheless, they are part of the spectrum in which the ayat are addressing. This is a group. The majority of the others, they were what? Mushrikeen. Why anyone commits shirk? Simply, he decided to make someone or thing else equal to Allah. Misunderstanding, ignorance, following the desire, not care of whatever. So Allah, as a gift, as an encouragement, as a more enlightenment, is giving him an idea about the power of Allah, the mercy of Allah, the bounties of Allah, the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through these ayats. In case if you have a doubt, in case if you are not aware, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you an idea. طيب, I read the ayat twice, in Arabic and in English. Now, in our time, we are suffering a lot from those people who deny the unseen, more than that time. Now we have mushrikeen. A lot of people among the Muslim Arabs, they are mushrikeen, yes. But when we speak about the non-religious, non-Arab, non-Islamic, materialistic world, atheism is much more higher. True or false? Those who deny the ghaib, those who deny the akhirah and the possibility of being brought to life again, which we call it al-ba'th wal-nushur, which is to be resurrected and congregated, gathered again for accountability. Okay? So as long as we are suffering from this more, let's have more focus how we can use these verses to support our kids, our youth in talking about just because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون. Now, in the area of atheism or discussing atheists or non-believers in our terminology, we use three main titles to prove the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, terminology. In Arabic, they say about the existence of Allah, they say دليل الإيجاد, دليل الإتقان, دليل الرعاية. Now, in this area, what's it? Now Allah does exist. Okay, we know that Allah exists. But let's come to the next two things, itqan and ri'aya. Allah, these ayat are talking about these two terminology, which is the providence and the perfection. Which means, in case if you have doubt about the glory of this God, in case if you are not aware of how amazing this God is, look about the amazing things that you are living within and happens with you. Perfection. One of the practical application of the meaning of perfection, some scholars, they use now the terminology of the fine-tuning of the universe. Have you heard this terminology? Fine-tuning. التصميم الذكي, they say. Non-believers, they don't believe in Allah. Most of them, they are Westerners, materialistic. But they are trying to respect their observations. They say, but it's amazing. What is the amazing? Look now, as believers, let's review. Look how everything in the universe goes in harmony, in parallel. For example, water, land, clouds, evaporation, comes again, plantation, food. Bodies are created in a way they can't live without food. Food contains carbs, protein, vitamins, etc. We take them, they are converted inside by the system that we did not create into sugar. Sugar will give power, energy. When we die, when we finish, when we eat, we go to the washroom. We get rid of what we have eaten. What comes out of us goes again, and it will be processed in another way. It will be part of the plantation system. The water on the ground will be mixed with a lot of impurities. Because of the heat, it goes up, it moves, it purifies, it comes again. Who took this decision of harmony? Now, for example, when we are very small children, الجنين شو اسمه؟ fetus? جنين في داخل الرحم. fetus, okay. Now, for example, الحبل السري شو اسمه بالإنجليزي؟ بس كورد هيك لحاله؟ استنى شوي. The umbilical, okay, the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord. Look now. Who took the decision of we as a human beings, we are in the shape or the form or the status of fetus in the wombs of our mothers. Do we need oxygen or not? طيب, how do we take the oxygen? Through the blood of our mothers. True or false? Once our mothers give birth, once we are outside, in seconds, we start screaming. In seconds, the whole system changes to receive oxygen through our lungs and our noses. Who designed this for everyone? Who took this decision? I mean, it's just signs about the ayat, about, this is called, because it's not coincidence. Who took this decision? Who designed this? Who's in charge of this? I mean, I can't keep going talking about these amazing things for hours and hours. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time will say ayat. Who is claiming that he is in charge of this except Allah? And by the way, for the sake of argument, if anyone claims that someone else is claiming that he's in charge of this, please bring him. Let's see who is this alternative God. True or false? Allah is challenging that he is the creator. And this is the signs, and he has sent messengers with proofs about this. Tfaddal, if you have another God, bring our God to us, or your God to us. That's why when a group of people decided to take a man as God's incarnate, or God's divinity, what did Allah tell them? Do you know what is the specific verse about this specific meaning? كانا يأكلان اوكي جزاك الله خير. ما المسيح ابن مريم الا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل وامه صديقه كانا ياكلان الطعام. Verily indeed, Jesus Christ is nothing more than a messenger, servant of Allah, and his mother, a holy saint. Both of them, they used to eat food. Do you know what does this is the highest rhetorical style of Quranic Arabic? This is a majaz, called a metaphor. Means what? Do you know يأكلان الطعام in the Arabic rhetorical language means what? They go to washroom. This is the meaning of كانا يأكلان الطعام. Got my point? It's like, hey, are you aware what you believe in? You believe in a being, he is in need by default to go to a washroom to get rid of filthy, dirty things in his stomach. Is it possible that this is God? This is the message. We are in the context of talking about the divinity of Allah, the concept of purification, glorification of Allah, tanzih Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of the ways of reminding us out of mercy, this God is a great God. From the aspects of his greatness, he is in charge of this system. The greatness, the harmony, the power, okay, the richness, and this all meaning all together. This is like some of the reminders after saying wa ilahukum ilahu wahid. Be careful. If you want to worship, know your place, whom you are worshipping. Are you aware of what you are doing? And by the way, this is like a message for anyone decided not to accept Allah as his God. Because this is applicable on millions of people nowadays and during the history. Because anyone who Jazakumullah khairan, barakallah fiqh. Anyone who refused this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding him with this meaning. After this, it's like one of, Quran contains like this ayah, tens and tens and tens and hundreds. It's not just the only one. But it's one of the reminders in this context. Because that's, by the way, one of the beauties in Islam in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decided under the big meaning of إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. Part of the greatness of the Quran that it is narrated and it is recited 24/7 all the time. But what could be part of the beautiful wisdoms of being recited all the time? Reminder for yourself, just to keep the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine yourself for whatever reason, you want to discuss, you want to argue, you want to help, you want to defend, you want to explain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding you, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. So, just to say, خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها بث من كل دابة تصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض all of such and such لآيات لقوم يعقلون. Surely signs for people of understanding. Immediately after that, which means use this. Reflect upon this. When you know that this is the only God who deserves to be worshipped because of his greatness, okay? Take the right decision and immediately a quick reminder after that. In case if you decided to do something else, unfortunately, you will be from the coming category, which is, unfortunately, some people, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَندَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Allah is describing that a group of people, they decided, unfortunately, to take people equal to Allah. Are you sure? Yes. Have we done our best to tell you the truth? Yes. طب why? حر. Okay. I'm just telling you, as your Lord, there is a hereafter. In the hereafter, everyone you are following, because you think his greatness, his power, his whatever will benefit you, they will be the first person who will disown you. تبرؤ. So don't waste your time. This is the whole idea, the message between this and that. I will stop today, inshallah, because if I started the new group completely, I need at least another 40 minutes, and it's not wise to connect next group, inshallah. Any question about what I have highlighted, this concept? Any question? Any comments? Sisters? Brothers? Before I finish? We finished earlier 10 minutes today. يلا إجازة زي المدارس على السريع. Yes, yes brother. Okay. He's asking about something, actually, we use it in the context of speaking with those who deny God's existence. We call them the evidences about the existence of Allah. Of course, this is قال لا مشاحة في الاصطلاح. They are just terminology they used by some of the scholars. You can change them, no problem. The idea, they say دليل الإيجاد, which means the proof of the existence, which means our minds are created in a way we do not accept the existence of anything without a reason. The cause and the reason, dalil or evidence, which means, I mean, you are created, you are programmed. Anyone tells you, who brought this here? Why to ask this question? Because you know that this thing does not bring itself by itself. Someone has brought this to this table. This is called a common sense. Okay, this is called dalil ijad. So first now, we have a great universe. We have a great existence. Okay, there's something great behind the existence because things are not found by itself, but there is, okay, something else behind it. This is called dalil al-ijad. Okay, the common sense, reason and cause. Dalil al-sabab wal-musabbab, one of that means. Now, then we say the existence is not just an existence. No, it's a very powerful, complicated, sophisticated harmonization between the existence in a way that you know the reason behind this existence. It is not just anyone. It's like وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. You found an iPhone 14 in the desert. The example that we used just a few days ago. iPhone 14 in the desert. And you were told that this came by coincidence. Coincidence mean حبيبي. طيب. Maybe your mind might accept that a tissue is their coincidence. But iPhone 14, which needs millions of hours of thinking and thousands of hours of design and big brains, genius engineers working for millions of working of hours to give you this an amazing powerful device which contains tens of applications. Okay, means it's not just because if you were told, okay, no problem, I agree with you that this iPhone 14 was done by someone. Do you know that's the one who designed this is a child with the age of 3 and it took him just 10 minutes to make it. Say, نعم. Excuse me? Child with the age of how? 3 years. Okay. Where's the problem? كل شيء ممكن أخي. كيف كل شيء ممكن? No, I don't accept. The one who designed the i14 or the group, actually it's not a one. it's a huge institution, okay? By the way, do you know what's the value of Apple now? The market value of Apple company now?
More than 2 trillion.
Yes? More than
2 trillion.
2,000 billion dollars. More, the market value, more than 2,000 billion, which is equal to the Arab oil words multiplied by a few hundreds. One company, طبعا, contains thousands of engineers, contains millions of working of hours. It's an amazing. So okay, Now, this iPhone 14 tells you how great genius people designed it. True or false? This is called dalil al-itqan. It's not just a thing that happened to exist. No, it's a very complicated, sophisticated, a lot of application inside it. This is called dalil al-itqan. Okay? Then we have dalil al-inaya or dalil al-ri'aya. The second one, al-itqan, is perfection. The third one, which is the inaya or ri'aya, which is كيف نترجمه دليل بالإنجليزي? It's the evidence which shows that there is a power that takes care continuously, not just happen to exist, which means, continuous care after the existence and after the greatness and sophisticated existence. Now, that's why one of the scholars, he said, this planet Earth is like a big hotel. It was designed in a way, not very sophisticated, not to take care of your needs, but it takes care. It's designed to give you the full comfort every time and then. This is ri'ayah, the continuous ri'ayah, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made most of the earth smooth and paved. Not most of the earth, very, very difficult mountains in which we can make what? We have millions of hectares for our plantation. Okay? Allah, for example, part of the ri'ayah, Allah created by nature the water accepts to have heavy weights, which we call ships. Okay? Or big the kind of folks, for example, ships. Now, we did not create the ability for the water to have this great, huge, for example, ships. No, it's created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of us by the fact that the water goes through evaporation, then the rain goes and this is ri'ayah, taking continuous take care all the time. The fact that, for example, the trees, the tree, they took oxygen and they give oxygen day and night. So, for example, Allah created the green trees in which they provide us with oxygen like a filtering system for the earth, 24/7. This is what? Which means it's designed in an amazing way as to be like an amazing, beautiful 5-star hotels for us, continuous care. When you put all of these three things together on the level of the whole existence, they call it the three big main evidences about the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ijad, itqan, ri'ayah. This is in a very short terminology in English. If I'm speaking in Arabic, it will be much more better, but hardly we explain it in Arabic. So when we explain, but I hope in English it's clear. Is it clear for the non-Arab speakers? Okay, tamam, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. For me, I finished today's session. If you have any other question about what I have highlighted, or other, yes, brother.
Is it the concept of Nur of Allah would dissolve in somebody because there is a cult even now that this man claims that he's got Nur of Allah within him, so therefore people worship him.
Worship him?
Yes.
This is definitely shirk and kufr.
Yeah, I know that.
But okay, let me just rephrase his question. He's asking, is there such something as the Nur of Allah? Actually, metaphorically, yes. Because we have the Hadith Qudusi, the Sahih Hadith Qudusi, Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb, which means let's not make a mistake by combining two things. Now, a concept of the Nur of Allah metaphorically, which means the barakah, the guidance, the special tawfiq, the support of Allah, if we use the word Nur, light, and we mean these meanings, yes, it does exist, and I will give you the proof. But if they mean something very special to a degree that this person has something like a divine being who deserves to be worshipped, this is a pure kufr. Okay? Don't mix these things. But let's have the Islamic understanding. Now, there is a hadith sound hadith where Prophet Muhammad says, Allah says, we call it Qudsi hadith. It's attributed to Allah, and the meaning and the composition, the wording, the rephrasing by Prophet Muhammad He says, قال من عاد لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب وما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء هو أحب إلي مما افترضته عليه وما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه فإن أحببته كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به بصره الذي يبصر به يده التي يبطش بها رجله التي يمشي بها وإن سألني لأعطينه ولئن استعاذني لأعيذنه. The meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah is highlighting to us the concept of wali. Wali, it's the meaning of the very special person in which Allah loves because of he has struggled in the sake of Allah to a degree that Allah gave him a special status. Metaphorically, the text says the one who reaches this status because he was following the commandments. Look, following the commandments, nothing will make him more close to me than following the commandments, fulfilling his duty. Nothing, which means he's practicing Muslim to the best of his ability. Then he will do extra things, extra khair, extra nawafil, with the sincerity. To a degree, Allah will accept him, I will consider him a wali. What will happen next? قال كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به. Now this is a metaphorical expressions. I will be, metaphorical means we don't understand it literally. Okay, I will be his hearing. I will be his sight. We say he hears by Allah. He looks by Nurillah, which means as if he has something special. Metaphor. قال وكنت يده التي I will be the power of his hand. I will be his leg, which means wherever he is doing, whatever he's doing, he will be supported by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not choose. He will not show off. He does not know that will happen. However, Allah will give him this, and the people around him will feel it. One of the signs that this is from that type, he himself does not know that will happen. He himself that will not be happy to let the people know about it, or otherwise this is a sign that he is a cheater or dealing with the jinn or doing something else. Okay, so this could happen, and we call it karama. Karama, it's like an honor by choosing someone honored by Allah to do this for him, for example. And it happens with many people during the history. Some of them, the Sahaba, it happened. Umar radiallahu anhu, it's a very well-known story. He was doing his khutbah when he was the Khalifa. Just out of a sudden, there was one of the groups who were fighting to defend Islam, you know, hundreds of kilometers. He said, Al-Jabal ya Sariyat al-Jabal, Al-Jabal ya Sariyat al-Jabal. One of the Sahaba who was fighting the enemy of Muslims hundreds of kilometers, he heard the voice of Umar telling him, be careful, go behind the mountain because they will attack you. Okay, okay, this is called karama. It happened with Umar radiallahu anhu, for example. We know this, but it's not, we don't know how, I mean, we don't achieve it by our own, we don't decide it. This, if it is used to talk about Nur of Allah, metaphorically, yes, nothing more than that. And this person does not deserve to be worshipped or to be considered by any way except high respect. We ask him to make dua for us, and that's it. Yeah.
He calls himself Mazharul Allah.
What?
He calls himself Mazhar Allah. He's a Mazhar of Allah.
Madharullah.
Yes.
The manifestation of Allah. Yes. This is a pure shirk. This is a pure kufr.
Alhamdulillah. And second thing is, just last question, I know you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Waliullah, the one, that person that you said can contain the Nur of Allah or is gifted by, you know, all those things. You cannot pray to him, or can you pray through him?
A'udhu billah. No. I mean, we ask him for dua because seeking the dua from the salihin is highly permissible in Islam. No problem with that at all. We can make dua for each other.
Right.
Yes, nothing more than that.
To him.
Huh?
Not to him.
No. Worshipping him is an act of kufr and shirk. Definitely.
This is the religion I came from. That's why I just wanted to clarify. I will send this video to some other people that are looking for this answer, inshallah.
Subhanallah. So, Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiqh. طيب جزاكم الله خير. See you next time إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.